Well, the Ford government is set to deliver its throne speech today, outlining its legislative agenda for the upcoming session. And joining us now for a look at what to expect is Amanda Galbraith. She is a principal and navigator and conservative strategist. Thanks so much for making time.
Thanks for having me.
So we're looking at a couple of big issues here. This throne speech comes at a time where we're seeing this big healthcare staffing crisis right now and also skyrocketing inflation. So what are you looking to hear today?
I certainly think we'll see the government make a nod to both of those issues, right? They're top of mind for many Ontarians. Inflation is a huge issue. It's impacting the economy. It's going to impact how they deliver on their agenda. But I think what we'll see is a sort of, a repeat of the message that got them elected, right? 83 seats in the legislature, a huge majority government. So they're going to talk about jobs, skilled workers, building highways, while recognizing, obviously, the pressures they're under with inflation and, of course, our healthcare system.
The ODSP, Amanda, is really sort of the only nod we've received from the government that may be changing, that increasing the rates there. Looks like they're looking at around 5% hike in that opposition party, though they're not going to be, parties, pardon me, will not be satisfied with that. Is that really going to make any difference to the sort of tack they choose to take?
Yeah, I think they will announce that. I've heard that as well, which makes sense, right? They promised that during the election campaign, and there was significant pressure there. The opposition's never going to be happy. It's their job. They're called the opposition because they're right. So they're like your in-laws. So they will. They'll rattle shake their fists at this. But I think the broad spectrum of Ontarians are going to nod and say, okay, that makes sense to me.
So based on these new issues that we're talking about, do you expect to see any changes to the budget that we already saw back in the spring?
No, I don't. I think other than ODSP, I don't think anything significant. We may see them nod to the fact that with inflation, with rising costs, that will impact how they implement their agenda. But my understanding is it's as promised, it will be very similar, if not almost identical to what they ran on, which makes sense, right? It was popular. It got them elected. They have a mandate to implement it. So I would suspect, if anything, there will be very minor changes, but mostly related to ODSP.
One thing's interesting, though, of course, Amanda, because, Doug Ford, ran a lot on sort of like, they got the support of all those private sector unions talking about affordability, but also talking about bigger paychecks. But we're in this inflationary situation right now where our paychecks are kind of being eroded by, what's happening without sort of outside of our control here. Is there much you think that this government can do at a provincial level to kind of help try to balance that out for people when you consider a lot of this is driven by governments at other levels?
Yeah, I think it's a tough spot for them to be in, right? They've talked a lot about skilled worker. They'll bring more people into the workplace. Bill 124 certainly presents a challenge, limiting increases to 1% when we have inflation at the degree that it is, which is why I think the expiration of that bill is timely, leading into some negotiations. So there's minimal levers any government can pull on inflation, but particularly a provincial government. I think they'll make nods to it. The other thing to remember is throne speeches are not the places for big policy changes, right? That's through the budget process and other pieces in this government. They've got 4 years to deal with this. So I certainly think that's a top of mind issue for them, but I wouldn't expect them to deal with it today in any measurable way other than sort of acknowledging it and saying it's something we have to look at.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate you helping us tee this up this morning, Amanda. And of course, Amanda is going to be part of our special throne speech / I suppose budget coverage with Stephanie Smyth coming up this afternoon at about 12:45. We'll look forward to seeing you then, Amanda. Thanks.
Thank you.